So today I want to have a conversation about Amanda Seals, and yeah, let's just get into it.
Yes, y'all, this is the Amanda Seals Show. I am Amanda Seals, and it's time for another edition of
I be knowing.
So I did an interview on Club Shay Shay, and I don't know like how I feel about it. I have a lot of feelings about it because I sat.
For those of you that aren't familiar, basically she did this interview on Club Shay Shay, and the interview was regarding, um, or the interview was notable because it highlighted a lot of why people don't like her. And this is actually what she's going to talk about. So I just think it's interesting just to see the cognitive dissonance that some people just have with reality. And that's just what we have here.
Back and watched it, and as I was watching it, I can see why people don't like me, but I don't have any desire to change those things about me. But I could see it. Like I'm just so deliberate when I speak. I'm so
Now, so far, can you imagine being so caught up in your own little world that you can understand and literally you can see yourself being dislikable and finding no issues with it whatsoever? That's not normal. That's not normal.
deliberate and I'm so unwavering. And I can see why folks would hear that and hear a sternness in it, like a rigidity in it that feels like someone being scolded.
Okay.
So like I talk like a cop, but I also talk like a teacher that wants you to learn. You know, like I talk like a parent, but then I also talk like a coach that really cares about you winning the game. And it ends up being perspective on how you receive that.
Hmm.
And, you know,
And this is her problem because for some reason she's so delusional that she actually thinks that people actually like need her to be a parent. And it's the problem. See, basically, I just want to highlight that Amanda Seals just represents a lot of the worst traits that educated black women have. And I hate to say this, but it's the truth. Like you get this complex, this superiority complex where you think you're God's gift to the world. And the truth of the matter is, it's exhausting. All you do is just alienate and exhaust people. It's the truth. It's mm, mm.
while I was watching it, I had to do my own work to not let the negative thoughts that are always kind of just fluttering around in my head, waiting to get, caught onto. I had to really let that go and lean into the uniqueness of like what I just described, like the different perspectives.
Yeah.
Because I think if all of us step back and watch ourselves, we will have critiques about ourselves. It's fascinating though, because majority of the people who would ever critique me, like they've never been interviewed and had to watch themselves, right? Or
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
they've never been in a situation where they had to be questioned and then now like go back. You know what I mean? Like oftentimes
Do y'all remember in the interview where she told everybody that she was diagnosed with autism? That she was diagnosed on the autism spectrum. Okay, you remember that? Then she came back later and said that she self-diagnosed herself. I'm pretty sure that if anybody was to sit up and lie on the interview the way that she did, then guess like just make up something like that in the way that they in the interview that she did, I'm pretty sure that people will hold them accountable too. That's insane. That's insane.
like people may be questioned even in an insular space, right? Like you're questioned by people that you know, but it's private. And I think that there's just such a different experience when it's happening public, and I'm fearless about it, but it doesn't change like my feelings about it. So it ends up
Mhm.
feeling a little bit conflicted. But nonetheless, I just want to thank anybody who felt like they got something positive out the interview and felt the need to share it with me. Um, it was a fascinating um was fascinating watching myself deal with someone coming at me.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is what I mean. The problem with Amanda Seales is she lives in this perpetual realm of victim mentality. She views, and if you go back and watch the Shannon Sharp interview, Shannon Sharp would ask her questions based off of what she was said. Shannon Sharp never once was going at her. He never once went at her. But yet at the same time, she has it so much in her head that she's so smart, that she's so intelligent, that she's so incapable of being wrong, that anybody challenging her position or her experiences, now all of a sudden you're coming at her. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Well, like I said, she represents just the worst that Black American culture has to offer. And I'm sorry if that offends whoever, but it's the truth. It's the truth. It's pathetic. And look at her. She's so delusional about it.
That's got to be a different experience. Yeah. Yeah.
Like I watch myself get intense, you know, like I watch myself go from intense to untense. But you know, it's funny. The person I'm talking to was like, "You're ready to get canceled again tomorrow?" He's like, "I can't wait to watch. I'll hit you back." I was like, so you know, nonetheless,
you're an adult and you have control over your actions, and that's the truth of the matter. As much as you like to play victim, as much as you like to blame everything on racism, and anybody that listens to her, you know that the first thing that she's gonna bring up is about racism. Even when you see her comedy clips, it's about racism. It's about racism. So,
as the moral of the story here for the I Be Knowing though is be kind with yourself and be gentle with yourself at the same time as being honest with yourself. And sometimes it feels like those two things cannot exist in the same space, but you know, it's really at the end of the day only you that you can control, and you really can't control anybody else. And unfortunately, you just can't control their experiences. You can't control their perception. All you can really do is try your best. And one of the things that was fascinating while I was watching it was I was watching my autism.
Okay.
And she doubled down on it. She's still gonna double down on it, even though she said she's never been clinically diagnosed with autism. It's crazy.
It was things that
I've never seen. I've never seen people just who just want to be victims so much. Just want to be victims so much that they're willing to put whatever label they can. They just fishing for a label and whatever sticks. This is crazy.
I didn't like. I talk really fast, and like when you'll see like pockets of the interview where I'm like really intensely talking about something. I'm really into it. And it's like, oh, and there's like a word for it.
Passionate.
I'm still learning these things, but like there's a word for this, and it's like I'm being castigated in the chat for this. Oh, she just talked too much. She just be talk dumping on people, you know, like you know, and
that's
then
a new word for me.
Talk dumping, you know. Then I would see, you know,
So all that word salad aside, and at the end of the day, all it is you just passionate about what you're talking about, and that's okay. It's okay to be passionate. I can disagree with what you're saying, and still respect your right to be passionate about it.
Trying to just like defend myself even when I shouldn't have to, right? Like I'm seeing like things about me being just like questioned that I didn't think deserved to be questioned, but nonetheless it was really just interesting to just
then you interview yourself.
Experience that as an outsider with this recent diagnosis, which some people have said like it's not a good idea to speak about your diagnosis. Well, I mean, it's not a good idea for me to be pro-Palestinian either, but here we are. So you know, I think everything is relative. But that's another edition of I Be Know.
Jesus Christ. And like I said, at the end of the day, this woman, she just I feel like she just like, I'm not going to say she's a dummy. I'm not going to say she's an idiot. But what I am going to say is she represents the worst, nastiest things that people have or that people view about Black women, and specifically in like intellectual Black women. Like she is the worst representation. And at the end of the day, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. God, man, God bless her. Golly.